Welcome, welcome, welcome to the Busy Moms Fitness, Nutrition, Mindset, and Accountability community. Remember, this is relaunch week, which means today I'm going to be taking you through our 4 pillars framework. These 4 pillars are kind of important. You're going to hear fitness, nutrition, mindset, and accountability. That's right in our name. Those are our 4 pillars. But I'm going to explain them and kind of what that means and why our 4 pillars are important and why you should even care about them. But before we get into that, I want to share who this group is for. This group is specifically for busy moms who are looking to shed some physical and mental weight while adding intentional movement to their lives to prevent aches and pains while gaining physical and mental strength. Busy moms who are looking to create a balanced diet without having to count calories or macros while being held accountable to create the healthy lifestyle that they love without having to give up the things they love. I am excited. Like you guys know, this is relaunch week. So this is a new group name. There's some of you who have been around for a while and you know our old group name, which was Get Fit With Me, expanding your physical and mental fitness group. I don't know how many times I've searched that in the Facebook bar. Make sure to pin this group so that you don't have to go searching and you wonder where'd that group go, because it is renamed. So go into the group and pin this group so that it's something that you look at every single day, or even just once a week for our live trainings on Thursday. As you guys are trickling in here, please drop live or replay in the comments and follow along. If you have questions come up on, well, why did you choose that pillar? Or are we going to learn about this in this pillar? Ask it in the comments, whether you're live or it's a replay. If you have questions in the replay, I will either answer them via the comments or I'll do a quick screen record video and I'll explain what we're going to be talking about and how to answer your question. So let me know in the comments, are you here live? Are you here watching the replay? Where are you from? And also let us know not just the state you live in, but what town. I saw there was a few people from Missouri yesterday that tuned in. How close do you guys live? Are you guys going to connect in person? The awesome part about this community is it's not just digital. We have people who will connect in person. I've got a lot of Lansing people here. I've met them in person here. I have people out in Washington. I've gone out to Washington. I've met them for other things. So it's not just a digital community. It is a community that can be brought into that in-person environment. And it's funny, it doesn't even feel like a Zoom community. It feels like an in-person connected community when we all want to participate. So as a reminder, let me know, are you here live? Are you watching the replay? Where are you at? We are going to be following a 4-pillar framework in this group. And like I said, I kind of put it right there in our name, fitness, nutrition, mindset, and accountability. But those are kind of vague. And fitness means something different to everyone. So does nutrition, so does mindset, and so does accountability. So I'm going to be taking you through each of these pillars, talk about why it's important, some of the benefits you're going to see from participating in those trainings, and then I'm going to get some questions, and then we're going to get out of here. So we have our 4-pillar framework. It's important that we have this framework in the group for a few reasons. One being, if we didn't have a framework or guidelines per se to follow, I could be teaching whatever, whenever, and it's not going to help you see results. But by knowing that we need fitness, we need nutrition, we need mindset, and we need accountability, and by teaching specific things in each one of those categories, it's going to help you feel a win, see results, and be successful long-term. And that's what I want for you. If I'm over here just willy-nilly training things, you're not going to get any benefit. You're going to learn, but you're not going to see results. And I want you to see results. So I follow a very specific 4-pillar framework. And we're going to get into that. But before I do want to share, I will sometimes do some one-off trainings where it may not be clear what pillar it falls under. There are things in life that are in that gray area. And I will teach on them. It won't be often, but if I have a one-off question that comes up that I know a lot of you would benefit from, I'm going to teach on it. So just keep in mind that if that happens, I'm going to try to make it really clear what pillar that would fall under if you want to watch the replay or you want to share it with someone. Because really everything I teach is going to connect with one of those pillars. It may just not be a really straight line directly to it. So before I get into our 4 pillars, does anybody have any questions? Whether it's about why are we doing it, about the 4 pillars. I know I just was very basic there, but do we have any questions or comments so far as we're getting started? Drop them in the chat. Okay, so we are going to move on. And as you come up with questions, as I go through each and every one of these pillars, please ask. And if it's something you really don't feel comfortable putting in the group, that's okay. Shoot me a private message, shoot me an email. I am here to support you and to answer your questions and to help you have wins, help you see results, and help you be successful long term. And I cannot do that if you don't ask questions and you don't participate. So if you participate, you ask questions, and you implement the things I am teaching, you are going to see results. You are going to be like, wow, look how far I've come this year. So pillar number 1, like I said, is fitness. You will also hear me talk about fitness as intentional movement. I kind of use those two words interchangeably. So just kind of be on the radar that when I talk about intentional movement, I mean fitness in a sense. Under this category, we're going to talk about strength training. We're going to talk about cardiovascular health. We're going to talk about stretching. We're going to talk about mobility. We're going to talk about balance, range of motion, anything that would fall underneath that fitness category. And it's not just a strength training session. It's not just a stretching session. It's not just going and walking on the treadmill for cardiovascular health. It's about how can we incorporate intentional movement and fitness into our everyday life that shows up differently. For instance, maybe intentional movement for you is parking all the way in the back of the parking lot at the grocery store and taking more steps. Maybe it's going up and down the stairs an extra time when you do laundry. Intentional movement and fitness is not this one square has to fit in the box type of thing. It can look different to all of us. For some of us, it looks like hiking. For some of us, it looks like walking in the snow. For some of us, it's riding a bike, doing air squats, doing counter push-ups. It looks different to all of us. So there are main concepts that we will talk about, such as tomorrow, our training is going to be how to keep strength training simple. And you're going to hear me talk about how to kind of do a workout, but also how to incorporate strength training throughout your day in really small micro ways. So think about that. And fitness is not this thing that just fits in the box. Think of fitness as being this wide open space. And as long as it's something you're not currently doing every single day and you're doing it with intention, that falls underneath that intentional movement and that fitness. Movement is important to help keep the body strong, help keep the body flexible, and help keep you doing the daily activities. I've talked to a few people and we talk about as we age, our life kind of gets limited if we don't focus on our movement. It's really hard to grab something out of that cabinet. Sometimes it's really hard to get up and down off the toilet. There are things that happen as we age. Think about picking up your kids. If you're not practicing picking up your kids all the time, and let's say they get bigger and then you go to pick them up and you're like, whoa, you guys weigh a lot. Like, I'm not used to this motion. Think through how just focusing on strength throughout your week and focusing on some of these areas are going to trickle into your everyday life. It's also going to help prevent aches and pains that maybe you've been feeling a while, or maybe you're like, I'm just starting to get some of these aches and pains. Let's start eliminating them. Let's put a prevention plan in place. Before focusing on intentional movement, you may feel sluggish. You may feel lack of energy. You may feel like you don't have time for this. But once you incorporate really small amounts of movement every day, such as even just 5 sit-to-stands or 5 squats or putting your kid above your head 3 times, like, it doesn't have to be a lot. But once you start incorporating those and you become consistent with it, you're going to have more energy. You're going to start to feel stronger. And that right there is what we want. And it's funny how just little things throughout your day doesn't have to be this whole 20, 30, or even hour workout. No, it can be just little activities throughout your day that are going to help you get stronger. And we're going to talk about that. So that is pillar 1, fitness. Pillar number 2, nutrition. In this community, nutrition can range from a variety of things. In the guide section, where you're going to find all of these call replays, you're going to see pillar 2, nutrition, and it's going to say meal planning, balanced meals, and tips. We talk about way more than balanced meals, meal planning, and tips, but those are the things that you guys search for. Those are the things you guys have asked me about. So I put those in the subtitle. In this group, we are going to talk about how you can create balanced meals that fuel you, that don't force you to count calories or macros, that don't force you to weigh your food. We're going to teach you how to fuel your body in a way that makes you feel good, that gives you energy, and that doesn't drain you. We're going to talk about water, caffeine, sugar, some of those that we may not think necessarily falls under nutrition. Often we talk about nutrition as just being food, but our water is super important for our nutrition. So is our caffeine intake, so is our sugar intake. We're going to break down our meal. We're going to break down our categories into carbs, fats, and proteins, just so we have a good idea of like what is on our plate. We're going to create that awareness. You're going to learn how to food log and the benefits that come from that. So there's so much that goes into this that I just had to subcategorize with meal planning, balanced meals, and tips, because that's really where you guys come up with your questions. But we're going to talk about a lot of nutrition in here, just like we're going to talk about a lot of fitness. And I'm going to tell you the battle rhythm at the end, because you're probably thinking, how are you going to do all this in one session? It's not going to be all one session. Each session is going to have its own topic. And I'm going to share with you, if you have not been in this group long, if you've been in this group for a while, you probably already see the battle rhythm that I'm going to share. Nutrition is a super important pillar when it comes to our health and wellness, because I don't know if you've heard, but you can't outtrain a bad diet. And there's a lot of people who are like, I go to the gym, I do all the exercise, but I just can't seem to lose that weight. Nutrition is one of the harder things to focus on, because often people tell you, you can't eat that. Nope, can't have that. Nope, you can only eat this. And I'm here to tell you that's not the case. I'm never going to tell you you cannot have something. If you want to completely cut something out, that is totally your choice. And I will support you on that. But I do not believe in the all or nothing approach. I believe we can have little things here and there, such as chocolate or baked goods or pizza and beer or wine and cheese. There are these things in our life that we have to have in moderation, but it's a balance. It's not an all or nothing approach. And so often we get caught in that all or nothing approach, or that diet cycle of, I'm going to do this for 30 days and then we go down and then we have to restart. I want you guys to create a sustainable nutritional diet that has balance, that has the foods you enjoy, complemented with the foods that are going to fuel your body and make you feel the best. So we're going to talk about that in here. And like I said, before this group and before these nutrition talks, you may be doing that all or nothing approach. You may have a really unhealthy relationship with food where you won't eat sweets, or you've cut things out completely because you didn't think you could have them. And that's not the case. I want to help you reframe that mindset in a way that you feel comfortable going out with friends and enjoying that beer and pizza or that wine and cheese, whatever your combo is. And that kind of moves us on to pillar number 3, which is that mindset. And under mindset, it's going to be talking about reframing that mindset in fitness, making fitness something that's fun, something you look forward to, and not something that you have to do to consume calories. Same when it goes to nutrition. I want you to look at your food as fueling your body and giving you energy and tasting good, rather than I can't have that. Because there's some of us that we really may not be able to have it, because we think if I have one, I'm going to have it all. We can reframe and we can work on little tactics so that you can just have that one piece. You can really feel that satisfaction and you can move on. And that all falls under that mindset. And mindset's an area that we don't usually want to work on, or we don't think we need to work on. And it's one of those where sometimes I'm hesitant to put it in there, because when I say mindset, people kind of lean away. But it's super important, not just for that physical fitness, not just for that nutrition, but also when it comes to goal setting. So things that are going to fall underneath mindset are going to be goal setting, organizing your physical and mental life, planning, time management, these things that rattle around in our head all the time. Think of that as some mindset work, because we're going to take little steps. We're going to do a training on calendars, how to set your calendar up for success so that you have time to do these things. You guys tell me you never have time. You never have time. We all have the same 24 hours in the day. It's just how we manage it. So we're going to do a training on that. And that's going to fall underneath that mindset category. And it's crucial that we focus on our mindset, because we can be doing really good with nutrition. We could be doing really good with fitness. But if our mindset is not right, or we're not aware of some of these things that are happening, we're not going to be able to be sustainable and successful long-term. And that's what I want for you. Something that you may notice as we kind of work on that mindset is you may not have a plan when you start. You may just have, this is where I want to be, and there may not be a plan. As you tune into these mindset calls, you're going to learn how to create that plan that's specific to you, that's going to teach you, oh, I'm not doing that. If I incorporated that, that would get me to there. Often we create a goal without a plan, and that planning falls underneath that mindset. We got to think through what's actually achievable for us. So let me know you are still here and watching. Out of their first three pillars, fitness, nutrition, and mindset, which one of those pillars stands out to you the most as the one that you think is the area that you need to work on? And kind of for me, just so you know, there's times of the year where fitness is that area I need more help with. And then there's times when nutrition is the time I need more help with. It's like this ebb and flow all year long, really all life long. Health and wellness is a lifelong commitment. It's not something that stops after 30 days, 90 days, or a year. It's something that's long term. So when we think of things that we want to achieve, we have to think sustainability and maintenance. And often we just go directly for that goal and then we're like, yeah, we reached it. And then we have to start all over because we back cycle because we haven't created consistent habits and routines. And then that leads us into pillar number 4, that accountability aspect. The accountability aspect is new in a sense of I've never really called it out, and we're calling it out in this group. Accountability is a pillar all in itself, and it falls into nutrition, it falls into fitness, and it falls into mindset. Accountability is for all of them. But there's also certain things inside accountability itself that we have to focus on and address. So that's why I've made it its own pillar. For instance, weight loss and weight maintenance takes accountability. Routines and habits, creating new ones or breaking cycles that are not benefiting you takes accountability. Creating consistency in nutrition, fitness, and working on your mindset takes accountability. So we're going to be developing skills to help create personal accountability, but also I want you to look to this group as accountability. If you shout out something in the group, let's say you made a post in the group and you said, I am going to walk 5 times this week. I'm going to know that, and I'm also going to follow up with you in 5 days and see, how did your 5 times of walking go this week? This group is about holding each other accountable, about holding yourself accountable, and then letting me hold you accountable in situations. And accountability, for you to be held accountable, you have to become consistent. You have to have that plan. You have to have that micro habit. And under this, we're going to talk about micro habits. And some of you are like, oh yeah, I know what those are. Others may be thinking, I have no idea what those are. And that's okay. Because we're going to dive into it, because micro habits, creating routines that work, creating consistency every single day, and being held accountable for that is going to help you reach those goals and see results and help you maintain a sustainable life rather than this huge up and down roller coaster like the dragster. Because let's be honest, without being held accountable, we do really good, we hit our goal, and then we crash. Then we go up and we crash. I don't want that. I want your health and wellness journey to feel like that kiddie ride at the fair where it's just these little bumps up and down, because that is what's normal. It's normal to have our little ups and downs. It's not normal to have the dragster up and down. And for those of you who are not Cedar Point people, you may not know what I'm talking about. It's a really tall roller coaster that goes up and comes down in like 2.5 seconds or something ridiculous. But I want your health and wellness journey to feel like a kiddie ride at the fair, that little ups and downs that you can barely feel. You're aware of it, but it's not throwing you off track. So I want to know, now that you've heard all 4 pillars and you've kind of heard what's going to fall underneath each pillar, I want to know, which one do you think you're going to need the most support in? Or which one intrigues you the most to learn about? Maybe you feel like you don't need support in any of them, but you really want to learn how to be more accountable. Maybe you really want to learn more about nutrition. Maybe you just need more help in fitness. Maybe your mindset, you're like, I make goals that are too big. How do I make those smaller so I actually reach them? Which pillar makes the most sense for you to start with. And they do all build on each other. If we don't have all four of those, it's really hard to be successful. I have all four of these all the time, every single day of my life, whether it's running my business or it's me personally. If I don't have these four together and they're not running smoothly, it really makes the rest of life hard. So as you were dropping in, I'm going to refresh the Facebook here. Let me know which pillar stands out to you the most. Which one are you wanting to learn about? Which one do you want the most support with? I'd also love to know, as we are wrapping up here, what your biggest takeaway was from this 4-pillar framework. Which stood out to you? What's kind of sticking to you like glue of, I really like that. I'm excited for that type of training, or I'm excited to do this. I also do want to open this up for questions. If you guys have questions, please drop them in the comments. If you are watching the replay and you have a question, drop it in the comments. I will either respond via text or I will do a quick little screen record video and I'll answer your question. Depends on the question, how intricate it is, depends on how I will respond. But every question dropped in this training, yesterday's training, and any training here on out will get answered. I also want to share our schedule for here on out, because you guys may know launch week's a little bit different. I will not be going live 3 days in a row. It's not how that happens. But starting tomorrow, Thursday at noon Eastern Standard Time, and every Thursday after, I will be going live in the Facebook group to teach on one of these 4 pillars. And that's where it brings us into our battle rhythm. So this week, we're going to be talking about that fitness pillar. And in that fitness pillar, I'm going to be talking about how to keep strength training simple. We're going to have an educational training. And on those educational trainings, you are going to get the most out of the groups by clicking the Zoom link in your email or above the live and joining in the Zoom room. These are free coaching calls every single week for you to ask whatever questions you want and get free coaching. And tomorrow's strength training. So maybe you come on with, okay, Morgan, I'm really wanting to get rid of some of the flab on the backs of my arms. How do I do that? Come on, ask that question, and we will address it. Nothing is off limits. And I said it yesterday, if I don't know something, I'm not just going to make something up. I'll say, not really sure about that. I'm going to do some research and get back to you, or I'm going to give you to the person who knows the answer. So starting tomorrow, Thursday, 12 p.m. Eastern, and every Thursday from here on out, we will be meeting live for weekly educational and coaching calls. Click the Zoom link and jump in the Zoom room with us. The more people we have in, the more that happens. You guys aren't just learning from me, you're learning from each other. Because you may find that what I'm suggesting doesn't quite work, but Sally over here suggests what works for her, and you're like, that is the missing piece I've been looking for. And that's what I want. I want you guys to learn from me, but I want you to learn from each other. I want you to take what you've learned from each other and implement it. And if it doesn't work, come back, we tweak it, we move on. So tomorrow, like I said, we're going to be talking about keeping strength training simple. Join that Zoom link, jump on in. It will be streamed into the Facebook group. You will have access to all those replays, and then they will be put into the guide section underneath the pillar that it corresponds with. Thank you so much for all being here and supporting me and supporting other busy moms in this group. I'm really excited to get to know each of you personally. As always, if you need anything, please do not hesitate to reach out, send me a private message on Facebook, send me an email, and I am here to help you win, help you see results, and help you be successful. I look forward to seeing you all tomorrow at noon Eastern Standard Time to talk about how to keep strength training simple. And we're going to be hitting on that first pillar of fitness. I will see you all tomorrow.